morning and welcome to Morning Talk on Channel 11. This morning's program is coming to you from Siam City Hotel in Ayutthaya. Have you ever wondered about the amount of electricity that's used in Thailand with all those wonderful illuminated trees that we have? This morning in the program we're going to have a look at electricity in Thailand. Valerie Mackenzie will introduce her guest to you, and of course we'll take you somewhere wonderful in the world in our travel segment. I'm pleased that I was able to talk recently in the Siam City Hotel with someone about electricity. Mr. Moulderings, welcome to Morning Talk. When we met at the Chain de Rotisseau dinner in the Siam City Hotel, I thought you should come to the program. So welcome.
Good morning and thank you very much, Mrs. Walton. I'm very pleased that I have a chance to say a few words in your program.
What does OSRAM stand for? O-S-R-A-M?
Right. The name is not coming from any family. The enterprise is rather old.
It's very old, isn't it?
Exactly 88 years old. Founded 1906 in Germany, in Berlin. The name has been built from two minerals. One is osmium and the other one is wolfram. Both minerals are used to produce incandescent lamps. And from the osmium we took the first two letters OS, and from wolfram we took the other part of the name.
Why was the company first formed?
Where?
Why?
Well, there was already, after the invention by Edison of lamps, of an incandescent lamp, of course there was a demand for lighting. And that time, OSRAM, or the founder of OSRAM, thought that would be a very good business.
And it obviously was.
Obviously it was, that's right, yes.
Is the company particularly big in Thailand?
The company had been big in Thailand. In the 60s and 70s, we had a factory here.
Oh, really?
We had a factory and produced incandescent lamps and fluorescent lamps.
So that's the tube.
That is a tube.
As well as the domestic bulb.
Right, that's right. But we gave up this production with what was that time a joint venture with Philips. And since that time we are importing to the country. Well, some people have said we have slept a little bit in Thailand for a couple of years. But I can assure you, now OSRAM came back to Thailand since a couple of years. And we are challenging the market now.
It's a big market, surely.
It's a huge market, yes. And it's a very interesting market. And my role will be here to bring OSRAM back to what it was and even to make it bigger.
Is it true that Thailand really does use more electricity than other countries and therefore has more electric light bulbs?
Well, here in Asia, Thailand is one of the big consumers. This is correct.
Have you ever seen so many lights anywhere as you see in Thailand?
Well, in Southeast Asia, if you look to Hong Kong or you look to Singapore, you will find better lighting. But if you compare Thailand with Philippines or with Indonesia, Thailand is leading.
It's just that I feel that when it's night time in Bangkok, there's more light than anywhere else in the world. And that light mostly comes from electric bulbs.
That's right, yes. And that is one of the governmental problems, to save electricity. And here we are bringing our part. Because we are selling energy-saving lamps, which really can save a lot. Those lamps can save 80% of normal bulbs, and those lamps last 8 times longer than normal bulbs.
How do they save energy?
Well, you know, the normal incandescent lamp or a bulb is quite a different technology from a fluorescent lamp.
Yes.
And we have developed fluorescent lamps which save a lot of energy. This is a special coating in the lamp.
Really?
And we even have developed lamps which have a base so that you can just exchange them with bulbs. So there is actually no need to get a new fixture. You just take your bulb out and put the energy-saving lamp in. And then you are trouble-free at least for 2, maybe for 3 years. And your electricity consumption comes down by 80%.
That's incredible. Because whenever I do see all the lights in Bangkok, my thought is, oh, the energy and the power that's needed to do that.
Yes, and the government in Thailand has recognized those problems, and they're doing a lot. They have a lot of programs now to save energy, and saving energy in lighting is also one big target.
Every household has to have electric light globes, doesn't it?
That's right, yes.
And you say that some of these will last up to 3 years.
Yes, they do.
It's amazing because I don't think ordinary globes last anywhere near that long, surely.
No, you can say in general, incandescent lamp lasts, if it is a good quality, lasts 1,000 hours. The incandescent lamp or the bulb in Thailand doesn't last that long. The quality might be one reason. The fluctuation of the electricity
Yes.
is another reason. Our new energy-saving bulbs have no problem with that. They last 8,000 hours, and we give a guarantee for that.
Do they cost more?
Of course, quality costs its price.
You can't have quality in anything without paying for it, really.
That's correct.
But if you're going to pay a little more?
You have to pay a bit more, but that is actually not a problem. We can assure you, if you use the energy-saving lamps, that your investment, which you put in to pay more, will come back to you in a time of around 1 year. We have programs for this, which we introduce to big consumers like hotels, big projects, for golf courses, for example. And we give them a guarantee that after 1 year they save so much. And we take that serious.
Really?
Yes. And we even take the lamp back after 2 years if the lamp falls.
It's a very big project and
It
a
is.
very big responsibility to guarantee anything. Now I'm going to start going around trying to find out who's using Osram and who's not using Osram, because I'll want to know how the energy saving is developing.
Well, I can tell you we are not the only company who offering this kind of lamps. We have competitors, but Osram is known to be an innovation leader, and this kind of aim means we have to develop again and again new products. And on the energy-saving lamp sector, there is much more to come, I can promise you, and our company will be definitely always one of the first who come up with a new product.
Thank you very much indeed for coming to Morning Talk this morning and sharing it with us.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. And I'm sure all of you living in Bangkok have heard of Siam Park and have heard of the wonderful dinosaur exhibition that's been on for some time. And I'm delighted to have with me on the program this morning Kun Verayut, the Managing Director of Siam Park. Welcome to Morning Talk.
Good morning.
It must have been a long time in the planning to have these dinosaurs come from China to Bangkok. What did you have to do to arrange that?
Oh, it's the first beginning is from last years ago. Our management group been to main China. In the province name is Xigong. It's in the north of the main China. And then we found one museum is a dinosaur skeleton museum. It's a big one of the world, because there is over 10 of the skeleton dinosaur inside the museum. So we are very, very surprised of the real skeleton. So we try to ask the government of China to approve to bring out all the skeleton to Thailand to display at Siam Park. After that, we applied the paper to the government. It took about 1 year for approve. So our group management have to discuss again about the skeleton dinosaur because it look like education too much. But Siam Park is a recreation.
A theme, fun
A
park.
theme, yes. How we apply the education to the theme and recreation or entertainment. So we found one company in Germany. They are very expertise about the animation. So we asked them come to consult how to make the dinosaur animation combined with the skeleton. So that become the theme of the dinosaur. Inside one whole pavilion we call, the name is Dinotopia.
So that's not just the skeleton standing there. You've actually been able to get some animation so
Yes.
that the students and the school children will want to actually come to watch and be entertained,
Yes.
not just when they're on holidays, come for more education.
They can imagine that how the real dinosaur move and how big, how strong of the dinosaur when the dinosaur move with the sound.
So it's quite spectacular.
Yes, very, very spectacular for the children from 7 to 12 or 15.
And I would think also that the parents would be also very interested.
Yes, because the real skeleton is the first time in Thailand.
It must have been very difficult for you to negotiate with the governments to actually get the skeletons here, and I would think the insurance policy would be quite high.
It's over million US dollar.
The insurance.
For the insurance.
My
Yes,
goodness.
I believe.
That's a lot of money.
Yes.
You must be expecting a lot of people
Yes.
to come and have a look at the dinosaur exhibition.
Yes, until today we have over 1 million visitors for the dinosaur.
Right.
Yes.
Now, Siam Park has been around for a long time. How many years now?
Siam Park been open on 1980 until today 14 years.
14 years.
Yes.
And were you one of the first theme parks in Thailand?
We can call theme park because the park in the world there is a different type. One we call amusement park. Amusement park is inside the park is only amusement machine. So everybody goes to the park to enjoy the machine. And our park, Siam Park, is combined between theme park and water park because the water park is just not over 15 or 17 years in the world business, just
Right.
beginning. So we are the first one of the water park in Thailand.
And that would also be very, very popular, I would think.
Totally 80% of the visitors, they are very famous and enjoy inside the water park for swimming for the whole day.
And they also want to keep cool.
Yes, because Thai in Bangkok is very warm.
Very hot.
Yes.
Are you having any special events for Songkran?
Every year we will have a special event about 22 days a year. Suppose like a New Year, Chinese New Year, Songkran, Roi Krathong, or May Day. Every special holiday we put a special event.
So you
Yes.
put a special event. So what happens then? You've got this water park, as it were, where people can get involved. And at this point in time, until is it the end of the year, you have the dinosaur exhibition?
Yes, it's like this. In the summertime, the weather is very hot, so the water park's mainly popular for the people. And then after that, June, July is quite raining season and school open. So in that time, in the weekend, there's some visitor to the water park. But the end of the year is a good season because of the weather. It's not too hot, too warm. In the nighttime, it's nice to walk around the park with the park illuminated.
So you are
Yes.
open of an evening too?
Yes, until 10 p.m.
Right.
Yes.
Whereabouts are you in Bangkok? Or a little bit out of Bangkok?
No, normally in the map is the heart of the Bangkok city.
Right.
But in the in the mechanism, I can say northeast of Bangkok area.
Right.
Yes.
Your theme park is actually for the Thai people. You don't look for overseas visitors coming to visit, do you?
The first beginning we planned for the local people only because the water park is good for the Thai people to swim and enjoy, and it's the first time in Thailand they never see. But the overseas visitor, they came also to the park with the tourist agent. They put some program one day at Siam Park, swimming and then eating.
Right.
Yes.
And of course with the dinosaurs, because this is the first time they've come out of China, that would also be something that I would think some of the tourists would maybe want to see.
So far, it's a mix between local people and some domestic tourists, and some allow Asian country.
Right.
Yes.
Do you have some very big plans for next year? I mean, the dinosaurs is huge. As you say, you had to insure it for $1 million. Can you tell us a little of your plans for next year?
Yes, we are under planning, and we are not, until today, we are not setting up for the name of the project.
Oh, it's secret.
Yes, but we can say in the name of the business, we call dark ride. Yes. So the people will move into the building, is a dark.
Right.
And then have something attraction inside.
So it'll be ghost house style, huh?
No, not like that. We will use some historical of Thai.
Right.
And return back to this time.
Right. So when does the dinosaur exhibition actually close?
We have a contact with the Chinese government 1 year, so
Right.
it will return on the end of this year.
Right. So people still have another 8 months to actually visit the park.
Yes.
And you'll be able to also, if it's the very hot weather, you'll also be able to let them have an experience of some cooling down by your water
Yes.
sports. Thank you, Kun Fayut, for joining us this morning, and thank you also for bringing the dinosaurs to Thailand.
Thank you.
And now back to Jay.
Thank you, Valerie. Travel plays such an important part in our lives. We either dream about it, we relive it, or we plan it. And I'm very pleased that we're able to include travel in every morning talk program with the compliments of Alitalia.
In 1250, Florence witnessed an initial attempt at government by the people, known as the Primo Popolo. To house its officials, the Florentines began their first major public structure. Now called the Bargello, this building is a kind of urban castle. It had to be fortified in order to defend the new government. The Primo Popolo lasted for only 10 years. But the experience was to prove valuable when the people again took power in 1281 and founded the Republic, which was to last for 249 years and give rise to a cultural ferment second perhaps only to that of ancient Athens. many ways, the new government was like those of modern democracies. However, only men who belonged to the city's guilds might participate in it. A bigger government building was required, as well as an adjacent square large enough to assemble the people and the city's new militia. But the question was finding the space for such a square. The only solution was to utilize two areas left vacant by the demolition of the houses of the Uberti family, the leaders of the pro-German Ghibellines, who had abandoned the city in 1267. The victorious pro-papal Guelphs had not only destroyed the houses, but also prohibited new construction on their site. It was thus that Piazza della Signoria, the square of their lordships, came into being. The palace, now called Palazzo Vecchio, was not begun until 1299. Its site was determined by the spaces where the Uberti houses had been. Other buildings were demolished, and it was on their foundations that the palace arose. That is why it is so irregular. Its form reminds us of that of the Bargello, but its size is greater. The tower is much taller, and the stonework more forceful. We can imagine the impression that the palace first made, looming up like a fortress over the ruins of the Uberti houses. The great tower soon ruled alone, for the private towers were now being torn down. The flowering city was no longer to be many bickering families, but a people united by their republic into one great family. Inside the tower, a great bell was placed, which was nicknamed the Lion. When the lion roared, it was to summon the people to defend their republic. A lion, in fact, represented Florence. The first statue to be placed in front of the palace was the Marzocco. It wore a crown with the inscription, "This crown I wear for the worthy fatherland, that liberty may be maintained by all." Real lions were kept in cages at the rear of the palace. They at length came to be housed near the street which is named for them. Lions are ubiquitous in a structure begun in the 1370s. This is the Signoria's porch, now known as the Loggia dei Lanzi. By the time it was built, Piazza Signoria had been brought to approximately its present shape, but real harmony was forever to elude it. The space is awkward, as is the position of the palace, which thrusts out aggressively from one corner. Piazza Signoria seems disunified indeed when compared with squares such as the Campo in Siena, or Piazza San Marco in Venice. Still, the square of the Florentine people, for all its piecemeal ruggedness, seems perfectly to reflect the independence of their spirit. In 1294, the Florentines laid the cornerstone for St. Mary's of the Flower, their new Duomo, which replaced the little cathedral of Santa Reparata. The first architect of the huge new church was Arnolfo di Cambio. Arnolfo began from the facade facing the baptistry, with which it was meant to harmonize and create a square around which would center the religious and ceremonial life of the city. The facade we see was begun only in 1875. The one Arnolfo started is known from a drawing. Arnolfo died in the early 14th century, and for decades afterwards, little was done. When construction finally resumed, the Florentines decided to build the Campanile instead. To be its architect, they appointed the painter Giotto. Only the lowest portion is by him, for Giotto died less than 3 years after having been appointed. After Giotto's death, the tower was redesigned by the sculptor Andrea Pisano. Andrea worked on it for about 5 years and introduced statues. Andrea's replacement, the architect Francesco Talenti, redesigned the tower again. It was brought to completion towards 1360. Like baptistries, the bell towers of Italian cathedrals often are separate structures. Major work on the Duomo itself did not resume until the 1350s, at which time it was redesigned and enlarged. One can best see the change on the outside, but the final design was arrived at only in 1367. We see a reflection of it in a painting done around that year. Its most extraordinary feature is the enormous dome. The committee of artists who designed it probably did not know how such a dome could be built, but that did not deter them, and in time, the dome was built. It is not easy to realize the vastness of the Duomo's interior. The Duomo, Baptistery and Campanile of Florence form a tightly knit ensemble. The three buildings are closely set and rise high. They seem to be a marble city of God, rising in the midst of a stone city of men. Their surfaces build until they reach the summit of the tower that reaches to heaven, and the domes that represent it.
I do hope that you've enjoyed this morning's program. Perhaps you may be able to reduce your electricity account. I'm very pleased that Valerie Mackenzie introduces guests to you in the program with me, and of course I think our travel is important. Next Thursday morning we'll be back with you on Channel 11 at 7 a.m. wherever you are in the Kingdom of Thailand, and in the program we're going to have a look at a special celebration in Bangkok. Until then, goodbye.